Every Carriacou was present. Everyone.
Whether you're refreshing a bedroom or...
You may not know that I'm a joiner and woodwork is my trade. Specialize in furniture, but only in first grade. But due to this economy, where the price of lumber so high, I had to reduce the feature on all my furniture that poor people could buy. So I build wardrobes and buffets, cupboards and two-face, no drawers. I build cabinets and wagonettes, even and dinner sets with no drawers. I work little, I work rubbies.
As Grenadians living on.
Every so often a video pops up online that makes it feel like the future has arrived.
My name is Bernd, and today we're launching Neo, our humanoid for the home.
Hoping that you will understand that Grenada really lies so close to our hearts. Hey, I know here at home somehow but the feelings. They say we leave this nation and run, subject to a foreign living, so we no longer daughters or sons. But never mind where we live out of foreign, Europe or not America. Is the sound of the diaspora calling? We want you to know we love we sweet Grenada. Hey. I said the diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We want you to know that we love we Grenada bad. Diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We love Grenada even though we may live abroad. It's time that we come together, man. We have this nation to build. We got to see ourselves like brothers and sisters. Let's put shoulders to the wheel. Well, let me tell you now, the diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We want Grenadians at home to please understand. Say the diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We love Grenada like the hills love the Grenada. In any times of a crisis, man-made or natural disasters. Well, let me tell you, man, as there is a God above. Anytime them calls reach out to the diaspora, our response is always simply an act of love. Hey, from every group, from every quarter, we must have every strength we could find. Putting heads and hands together with only one thing on our minds. Just to ease the pain that you suffer, to let you know that you're not alone. But there are hearts that bleed for Grenada, patriots far away from home. The diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We want you to know that we love we Grenada bad. The diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We love Grenada even though we may live abroad. Our love for this nation, and there is hardly dispute. In any kind of situation, we stand ready to contribute. Let me tell you now, the diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We want Grenadians at home to please understand. The diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. Some of us live very up in the Granby town. Hey. We never turn our backs, never bring no harm to this spice nation. Neither have we ever treated this land with scorn. No. For every man, woman, and child across each generation, it's love we have for this land where we all came from. Hey. Never flinching for one let me tell you now. I said the diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We want you to know that we love we Grenada bad. I said the diaspora calling, yeah, yeah. We love Grenada even though we may live abroad.
Take a look carefully. There's a woman crying in pain. She could be your neighbor. Take a listen. You will hear the voice of a woman screaming as she's been beaten. No fault of her own, yet he strikes along. With kick and cough, she falls on the ground. Black eyes and bruises has become a norm. Yet she stays at home and there will not run. She needs the help of civil society. She tells the police, please don't worry. Then tell the neighbors to mind their business. Her black eyes and bruises are not their entries. Woman, you keep taking licks like your skin is leather. Sometimes you take it in front your daughter. You are prisoner in your own prison. He tells you, honey, I will always love you. Look at the way how he should love to you. You are prisoner in your own prison. The situation so damn terrible. So for your daughter, show some example. You are prisoner in your own prison. You have the keys to lose that chain, but you live in fear and so you remain a prisoner in your own prison. Take a look carefully. There's a young man gambling now. His salary. Take a listen. You will hear the shouts at the one-hand bandit. He lost his money. Family at home, they wait patiently. Rise of the young mom, we are hungry. TGIF, your dad will soon come. Wait patiently, but then there was none. Look what you did to your family. They goes to bed with their stomach empty, while the one-hand bandit just smiling. You and your family are now just screaming.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martini.
You swear to God you will never go back. As you get paid, you right on the attack. You are prisoner in your own prison.
And also those of you listening throughout the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. Hope that you all have been having a wonderful day thus far. Yeah.
You can't pay light, boy, you can't pay water. There is no food for your son and daughter. You are prisoner in your own prison. You have the keys to lose the chain, but you're addicted and so you remain a prisoner in your own prison.
And saying a special good night to those of you joining us via the various mediums, yeah? Those of you joining us via YouTube and joining us via the Facebook. Not sure if Noise Radio is on with us tonight. Yeah, just saying a special good night to the listeners who usually join us via that medium as well.
In prison walls, but in double prison. Talk to Tony and inmate. The reason he give for his incarceration. At an early age, he got hooked on coke. Hustle and steal to get better liquors.
Yes, so we're going to get into the discussions in a short while. We've got quite a lot to go through tonight, so we're going to get into that in a short.
Although Stony, with the same story, you have a right and responsibility. Your life you must rearrange. It is time you make that change. Prisoner, you tell you.
Teresa Colomore, Leroy St. Paul, Lynn Joseph, Yvonne Courtney, Esther Peters, Yvonne Roberts, Agatha Debole, Sherry Lambert, Hermina McDonald, John Mark, Sherms Houston, Joan Henry, Hayden Augustine, Wallan Akwat, Sherms Houston, Nicole Alexander, Mia Aban, Betty James, all of you joining us via the Facebook.
None for hell.
See you all popping in one after the other.
Prison bells and
I
chicks.
say a special good night to all of you.
A prisoner.
The Facebook decided it will work tonight.
Prison.
No, Papa, we don't take in call yet. Let me see what that person had to say. If that person calling to tell us something with the audio, let me see. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night. We ain't opened the phone lines yet. We have not opened the phone lines yet. So if it is a technical issue, go ahead. Other than that, you're going to open later.
Yes, that's what I'm called to tell you because you're going in and out on my side over here.
Anyone else hearing that, I want them to let me know so we'll know if it's a problem on your end or if it's on their end.
Yeah.
All right?
And all year on, I was seeing like other advertisement coming in while he was playing the music.
Now, that was because I had on a different machine. But that has been sorted
okay.
out. Yeah.
All right.
All right, good. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, my friend.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah. So, yeah, that, we was hearing that talk. That was a program, a YouTube program I usually listen to. That is what came on there. Yeah, that was what you heard. Let me see. Yeah. Hello. Okay, right. Yeah, so we saw that out there. Let me see. Pricey, I'm not too sure exactly what you're talking about there. I have no idea what you're talking about there, you know. Yeah, I'll have to check on that. I have no idea. No. Yeah.
Think about it first.
Not Pricey. What's the name there? Yeah, I can't see the name. And let me say good evening to the geezer. I know you're listening, bro. Let me see who's on the YouTube before we get into it. I see Alban Harris, Claude Abraham, Anastasia Buckmeyer, Gemma Warwood, Denny Sandy. I see Mr. B, Cynthia Bartholomew, Vanessa Lalji, Agnes Henry, David Langclos, Dalton Strawn, Ruth Chitterman, Shajan John, Dolores Redhead Sky, Faithlyn Hallie Douglas, John Stafford, Anastasia Peterson, Jerome Kenneth Lewis, Anna Lewis, Jackie Raymond, Rosalind Jones, Lona Lolo Williams, Clive Raymond, Sherma Jeremiah, Teresa Joseph, I see you there, Dolores Redhead, Vanessa Lalji, Adrian Watts, good night to you and the lovely Mrs. Watts, Sharon Felix, Andra Burke, Moko Joseph, Moko Ben, Alcy Peters, good night to you, Carib Spice, good night to you as well, Olive McKeown, and let me see, Renee Zadie, good night, Kathleen Ledlow, Tesha Collimore, Joycelyn Lewis, Hilary Joseph, and who else is there? Art Will.I.Am, Jefferson Hagley, Winnie Simon, and let me see who else is there. Manda Moses, good night to you, and Gosville, Antonito, Jesse Sherry, Yard Boy, Gillian Noel, Good Life, Kathleen Knight, Cynthia Collins, Patrick Roberts. Then I just lose the whole thing there. Where you go? Yeah, Ron Julian, I see Salam, Norma Felix, Enid Decoto, Patrick Roberts, right? It was Patrick Roberts, right? Amanda Jeremiah, Alice, I see you there, Maud Martin, Ashma Charles, Venter Walden, and Edmund Cullis. Yeah, they're bringing up the names in a strange way these days.
Be a leader and not just follow.
Glenda Francis, yeah, you know, yeah. Let me play that thing. Let me play that tune again, but I want to hear that tune.
Think about it first. Boy, mommy, oh,
Yes, 20 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. I think it's time for us to get started, yeah? Mommy George, good night to you.
Of the people to lead you on the right path, I'm responsible. The decisions you make not only decides your fate, but is an entire country.
Hey, Dominic Antoine, good night to you, and Glenda Francis as well.
Power been vested in you from the day that you were.
So as I said, we've got quite a lot to speak about tonight. The first one, and that is actually the last one, because I planned to speak about some other things first tonight, and then that one came up today. So during the day today, I received a message from a good friend of mine in the international community, not even here in Grenada, but it came from a good friend of mine in the international community. And that message, which was posted on what we used to call Twitter, what is now X, is the following. And let me just show you what that message said. All right? So it says here, breaking, Secretary Marco Rubio freezes all foreign visa processing. Right? Again, breaking, Secretary Marco Rubio freezes all foreign visa processing indefinitely from 75 countries. And it goes ahead to name all the countries, yeah? The only country I'm interested in here, because I see some people making an issue out of the fact that we mentioned Grenada and I mentioned Grenada, and I wonder if these people either have their head on right, if they're thinking properly, or if there are other agendas at play. Because the only country that I know that Grenadians are interested in this list is this particular one here. You see this one right around here? This one? That is the country that I know the people who live in these islands are interested in. They ain't interested in this one. They ain't care nothing about that one. They ain't give two hoots if it happened with that one, which is a sister Caribbean country. The only country they care about. And let me just shift it back here. Beautiful picture, by the way. Yeah. The only country that they care about is the one that was mentioned there, Grenada. Because that is the country that we all belong to. That is the country, that is home. That is where we belong to. So as such, if something has happened and Grenada is named, because even if you go back, let's go back to the list. Even if you go back to that list, and let me open it here again. Even if you go back to that list and you go over the list, you would recognize that within the Caribbean region, there are countries that are missing. Yeah, you'd realize that when you're looking under G, there's no Guyana there. So Guyana, for whatever reason, was left out from this. The same goes for when you look under T, there's no Trinidad and Tobago there. So they have been left out for whatever reason from this list as well. But people in Grenada ain't care about that. The only thing we care about is this. Yeah? And while that is what we care about, and I don't have to come here and defend myself, I'm just saying it as it is because it looked like some people's brain need rewiring. The initial message that came out was this. Yeah? Secretary Marco Rubio freezes all foreign visa processing indefinitely from 75 countries. That is the message that came out of the United States. That is the message that came out from the United States. That's not the message that came out, originated in Grenada. That is the message that originated in the United States. And even if you go even further and you decide that you want to check, because I started checking different websites to verify. And the only website at the point in time that I was checking that had it was over here on Fox News channel. And as we know, there's a close relationship between the White House and Fox News channel. So when they give you news about what the US government intends to do, it is usually good tobacco, well pressed. Yeah? So when they put out, they didn't put out some, they didn't put out categories. The initial story that was put out after 9 this morning, look at the time here, after 9 this morning, the headline up to this point in time has not changed. It says U.S. freezes all visa processing for 75 countries, including Somalia, Russia, and Iran. Then within the story, they may have made amendments to say that it is one particular type of visa, right? Conducts a reassessment of immigrant visa processing. So over the last few hours, they have made amendments to the article. But the initial article that was sent out says freezes all visa processing, which would give the casual reader the belief and the understanding that no matter what type of visa processing it is, that has been cancelled up to the present point in time, up to now. Yeah, I have checked the U.S. State Department because I hear people out there talking. I hear people saying things. I see things flying all over the place. And this is not as a matter of fear mongering. It is letting people know what is taking place. Up to this point in time, and I've gone here. In fact, let me put that larger so you all will be able to see, especially those of you looking on via your devices. This is the U.S. State Department website. Yeah. Up to this point in time, no information regarding that particular story there. There's stories there from today where they welcome some Arabs. They have a MOU with the country Malawi. They have terrorist designations, other stories there. Let's even go up here. Let's look into the newsroom and let's see if something has been placed yet. Press releases. Let's look at press releases. Yeah. And there's something here. U.S. disaster assistance to the Cuban people. U.S. disaster assistance to the Cuban people. Drive in progress. United States welcomes. Still nothing in relation to this particular story up to this point in time because these other articles are from yesterday, the 13th. Yeah? So up to now, we have not heard officially from the U.S. government via their usual mediums that it is one type of visa or it is all visas. We are still in the realm of not knowing for sure if it is all or if it is one particular type. We know definitely it's happening. And the date given is next week, Wednesday, the 21st of January 2026, when whatever it is, be it immigrant visa, in other words, people who are getting a visa to head to the United States with the intention of staying there. Yeah, whether it is that type of visa or whether it's the B1, B2 visa for people who are traveling for pleasure, tourists who are going on business, whatever it is, whether it is that type of visa or whether it is all the visas. As we know, Antigua and Barbuda, together with Dominica, they have already had, and they're on that list too, but they have already been notified that all visa processing in relation to them, there will be a change in relation to that come next week, Wednesday. They have already been informed of that. So we know for a fact, when it comes to Antigua, Barbuda, and Dominica, we are yet, and let me just double check my email as I say that. I'll double check my email one time. No, I'm paying up my email for it. You all want to see you messaging me and all kind of thing? No, I'm not paying it up. Yeah? But let me double check my email because up to the point in time, yeah, there's still no release from the government of Grenada regarding this issue. Not even a release that says we are trying to find out what is taking place. Not even a release that comes out to say we hear this in the public and we're trying to find out. Now speaking of the government of Grenada, not the political entity, that you realize now the friction that is taking place within the NDC, that they're so upset that the government isn't addressing this issue and they believe that there's an urgent need to address the issue, that the party, the NDC party, has gone forward and issued some sort of nonsense in relation to this issue, where up to this point in time, we're not seeing anything from the U.S. State Department. We've heard from a very reliable source when it comes to news from the White House, that is the Trump administration. We know that when it comes to them, Fox News gets when President Trump did the action that he did in Venezuela, Before he did his press conference, he went on Fox News and speak. So we know that there's a close connection. So that if they say something, I tend to take their word for it in relation to matters attached to the White House before I take the word of other entities. So if they say he say, I tend to believe they say he say, so most likely it is true. Yeah? So when I see people jumping around and trying to make it look like, oh, you're fear-mongering and you don't know what you're saying and all sorts of things, while some of them saying that, they are urgently on the Bridgetown, Barbados U.S. Embassy website trying to book an embassy thing for their visa before next week Wednesday if it's possible. You know how much of them gone on the website already and checked to see if they could get an appointment before Wednesday? Even though they are saying that there is no situation when it comes to the B1 and B2 visa, they're taking chance. Those who need to renew and those who need to get their thing, they make sure. And they're going and trying to book to get into Barbados to go and see if before the date that has been announced, the 21st, they could possibly, it might have an opening boy, that they could possibly go to sort out their visa. But on the other end, they're out here telling people, don't worry with that. That is NNP spreading propaganda. We are not the ones that saying, oh, all. It is sources out of the United States are the ones that are saying all the different categories. But you see, common sense and intellect does not dwell within the minds of these individuals that are making these statements out there. And whether it is immigrant or non-immigrant, we know, not we think, we know for a fact that in weeks to come and months to come, they will be going after the non-immigrant as well. Because let's just talk it out. If the US is saying that the reason that they are going after the immigrant visa people because they don't want these folks coming into the United States and staying there, more people, much more, and I would tend to say over 60% of the people who go in the United States and end up staying are people that go on not immigrant visas, are people that go on non-immigrant visas. So if the mischief that you're trying to correct is that people are coming into the United States and that they are staying there longer than they're supposed to stay, they're not leaving, that they are staying there, then afterwards they're getting jobs and all sorts of things, they're trying to get married, and then they're trying to get their proper documents, or as they say, get their papers in the United States. It's not the people that they know about who trying to do it properly with the immigrant visas alone they're going to go after. It's going to be the people with the non-immigrant visas too. Because the vast majority, you know how much people I could probably call off the top of my head that I know for a fact. And there are literally hundreds of you listening to this program now, so you know what I'm saying is true. That first entered the United States on a non-immigrant visa. So anybody that does think, anybody with common sense, forget common sense, anybody with intelligence would know that if the mischief they're looking to correct is people coming into the United States, staying there without permission, that it's not the immigrant visa alone they're going to look at. They eventually, even if it is not next week Wednesday, eventually they will start having a look at the non-immigrant visa, the B1, B2, and the student visa as well. We already have been hearing within the last few months of situations of Grenadians who are seeking to further their studies in the United States, some of them from St. George's University, the medical program, who are trying to do their residency, attempting to go to the United States, and are having problems, are being refused student visas, are being refused visas. So we've heard of that. For the last few months, we've been hearing about that. November, December, we've been hearing about this thing. So don't try to make it look as everything honky-dory. There is a problem. There is an issue when it obtains as to Grenada in diplomatic circles at this point in time. And instead of reaching a hand out and saying, hey, we need your help, calling a Mr. Oliver Joseph, yeah? Calling a Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, calling a Dr. Patrick Antoine, reaching out a hand and saying, we need your help. What has this year looked like so far? First week of the year, fish ban. Second week of the year, travel advisory. Third week of the year, what we have now, visa ban. We know what next week coming with. We hope next week comes with nothing, but we don't know what next week coming. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yes, we know the first week was part in 2025, part in 2026. But on the first, we had the visa ban, the fish ban. Last week, we had the release that came out that put the level 2 travel advisory, in my view, unfairly so, because our country ain't nothing like they're describing it there. Yes, we have had issues. Yes, we have had instances. We know that. Yeah? But we are not to the level of some other Caribbean countries that have not been given a level 2 travel advisory. We are not to the level of some of those countries that I'm sure if you check their murder rate for the year and their crimes on tourists, you realize that they are maybe 100 times more than anything you're hearing happening in Grenada. And not only looking at a space, but looking at any year or the last 5 years or the last 10 years or the last 20 years. That we are nowhere close what you've been hearing happening in some of those countries. But we are the ones that got hit with a level 2 advisory, travel advisory, which basically tell Americans, hey, be more careful when you go in there. Don't just go there and walk around hunky-dory like if everything is all well and good, but be careful when you go there. Again, it's not something that I agree with to say that is the Grenada. The Grenada they portray in there is the Grenada we know. We know that if we find a vagrant or somebody talking too long to a tourist, or even try to approach a tourist, some of us get involved and say, hey, leave the people alone. That's us. That's how we operate. So first week, fish ban. Second week, travel advisory. This week, visa ban. And yes, it is a visa ban for the time being. They have said that they are putting a hold on it, processing those visas. But that is the story that we have heard. And while we await word from our government that usually, I don't know, maybe they disappear, maybe they gone out, maybe, there doesn't be around. So I don't know if it's they gone out, I don't know what's the situation that we have not yet heard from them. Yeah? I had to go next door to St. Vincent to try and hear what it is taking place with Grenada and this situation. Let me see if I could bring up St. Vincent there. Yeah, we had to go to St. Vincent. St. Vincent minister had to tell us what's going on. Let me hear from he. Probably he might have a better idea of what is going on in relation to, let me just nice him up there. Nice, yeah. Let me see if he has something to tell us.
I've been informed that media news outlets such as Fox News have been circulating a news release regarding the suspension of visa processing for citizens of 75 countries, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have not been officially informed by the U.S. Embassy in Barbados to the Eastern Caribbean, nor any other U.S. official for that, U.S. government official for that matter. However, we are following the news item and we are following up. We have been contacting officials in the embassy, the U.S. Embassy in Barbados, and we have also been in contact with our embassy in Washington, D.C., the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Embassy to the United States, to find out exactly what is happening in this regard. So as of now, we don't have any official information at all on this news article. And as soon as more information, official information comes to hand, I will inform the general public. Thank you.
So you telling me Andal can't do that? You telling me Andal can't just do that? That GIS can't do that for him? I know GIS could do it. I know they have the capability. So I know that GIS can do it. Yeah? I know that they can do it. Let me see, somebody else is saying it was sticking. Anybody else having the video sticking? Please let me know. I have so much security on these things here that I'm having a little problem. If it's sticking on one, if it's sticking on Facebook, go to YouTube. If it's sticking on YouTube, go to Facebook. That's all I could say. because I am not aware of why that might be taking place with the video. So yeah, as I was saying, so we've heard there from the Minister of Foreign Affairs in nearby St. Vincent. We still await to hear from our own government here, even if it's to say, we come to say that we can't say, even if it's to come and say that, even if it's to come and say to the Grenadian people, because there are people that are scared out here. There are people that pay their money to the U.S. Embassy, book their flight, their taxi, their hotel, everything for when they go over to Barbados for their visa appointment, and are now worried if they should board the plane tomorrow morning, even though they may not have even listened to the part that it's starting next week, Wednesday, who are worried. And that's for different categories of visa. People who are looking at the student visa, people who are looking at the B1, B2 visas, not just immigrant visas. They are worried. But as usual with this government, they have nothing to say. The incompetence is real. They have nothing to say. I'm missing a few calls. We'll get back to you all in a while. Yeah, they've got nothing to say. So you telling me at this point in time that these individuals could not have simply done something to come to the Grenadian people and say to us, hey, we hearing this thing, we seeing this thing, we don't know. Yeah? We don't know. Just say you don't know. You don't know. You're seeing this thing, you're hearing this thing, you don't know. You checked, like I checked, the U.S. State Department website, nothing. Releases, nothing. I checked the Barbados Embassy website, same thing, nothing. Yeah? So there's no information out from those official sources. Yet still, you have people within the NDC that are out there calling other people liars and saying they don't know what they're saying, when there's no official information. But you see, that shows the disconnect between the NDC party and the NDC government. That there are some in the party that feel the government is doing what it's supposed to do. So they rush in front and they issue a release. They put out release. I ain't playing that release, I ain't reading that release on this program. They had a program for that. So it ain't coming here. If all you want, afterwards, all you could go and find it where they have it. But they have put nothing out as government. But those in the party, those who are upset in the party, look at NNP put out thing. We have to rush up. We have to put out something. Because look something out there from NNP, and people go start to listen to what NNP saying, and people go read what NNP saying. So they jump on that. They jump on that. Let me read the NNP release for you all. Let me just get it downloaded here. And let me just read the latest release from the New National Party. Yeah? And, I like to pull it up for you all to see as well. Yeah? So you all can see if I read it properly or if I don't read it properly. And this is a press statement from the New National Party regarding the fishing ban, travel advisory, visa uncertainty. Right? Grenadians seek answers from government. The New National Party is expressing deep concern as Grenada faces a growing series of adverse actions from the United States, leaving ordinary Grenadians increasingly anxious and uncertain about their future. Grenada is now confronting a triple hit: a U.S. fishing ban, a U.S. travel warning, and now the pausing of U.S. immigrant visa issuance and processing under tighter immigration and security policies. Together, these developments carry serious economic, social, and reputational implications for the country. Yet, despite the cumulative impact of these actions, there has been no clear explanation, no public plan, and no reassurance offered to Grenadians. This latest development comes on top of the fishing ban and the U.S. travel warning, both of which already place significant economic and reputational pressure on Grenada. As these decisions continue to stack up, the absence of clear communication and visible advocacy has left Grenadians feeling anxious, frustrated, and unprotected. The handling of foreign affairs is now having real consequences for ordinary Grenadians. There has been no communication outlining what diplomatic efforts have been undertaken, nor any clarity on what Grenadians should expect next. Grenadians deserve action, transparency, and advocacy on issues that materially affect their lives. Clear answers on what continued U.S. restrictions mean for Grenadians. Transparency on what diplomatic efforts have been made and what results, if any, have been achieved. Visible advocacy that puts the interests of Grenadians first. Grenadians are facing growing uncertainty and are still waiting for clear answers and strong representation. First the fishing ban, then the travel warning, now immigrant visa regulations. The new National Party believes the country cannot afford continued silence when Grenadians' livelihoods, opportunities, and confidence are at stake. And that is a release from the new National Party. Yeah? Week 1, fish ban. Week 2, travel advisory. Week 3, visa. So we wondering what week 4 going to bring. We have to be wondering what week 4. We hope week 4 don't bring anything bad. Probably it could bring some good news, something positive. We're hoping, but we are holding my breath. Not with this administration. I ain't holding my breath. Not at all. Yeah? I'm not holding my breath with this administration regarding those things. Yeah? So, folks, this is the situation that we find ourselves in as of today. The 14th, believe me, the year just started, and it feels like if we done somewhere in April or June already. And it feels like the year just started, actually. So it's the 14th, just the 14th of January. Not the 14th of June, no. It's the 14th of January. And it feeling like if we done towards the 14th of June already. Here's what we're going to do. Before we get into the other issues, I'm going to open the phone lines. Yes, I'm going to open the phone lines and give you the opportunity to call. Yeah, I'm going to give you the opportunity to call. So we're going to open the phone lines and give you the opportunity to call in to tonight's program. Yeah? And somebody, you're too soon on that, brother. That is later in the week. Yeah. Yeah. We talk about one thing here. We go deal with that after. Nice. Yeah. Don't shift my brain. Don't shift my brain. Nice. You're beautiful. 1473-440-7377. That's 1473-440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. As I said, I know I missed a couple calls. Some people were trying to get into the program already tonight. So we're giving you the opportunity to call right now. Yeah, we're giving you the opportunity to call right now. Because when we start on the next issue, we go hold on calls again. So we're giving you the opportunity to call now before we start holding on calls again. Yeah. Let me move this thing there. Hey, Papa. Yeah, let me move that thing there. Nice. Yeah. So we are waiting to see what week 4 brings. Yeah. And then week 5. And you see, this is the problem here is that as Grenadians, we cannot honestly say that we know what our government is doing on any of these issues. Outside of we hear them say they've done legislation and they've made representation to the US regarding the fishing ban. We don't know what they're doing really in relation to the travel advisory. And outside of speaking with the US government regarding the travel advisory, what have they done with the tour agencies, the airlines, the agencies that are organizing people to come into Grenada? Because this thing was on Fox News. The travel advisory that has been placed on Grenada, that as well was on Fox News, which means it was open to millions of Americans and other people in other parts of the world. It was on their website. And it states basically a policy position of the United States. Again, one that definitely we on this program do not agree with, but we can't tell the United States what to say, but we can negotiate with them so that they can soften their tone or that they may hold on decisions and give the opportunity to sort things out. So when people talk about the fishing ban and say, well, the fishing ban thing, they go back how much years? Why was it never implemented under the time of the new National Party? You know why? Because the NNP had capable people like Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, Mr. Gregory Bowen, Honorable Emlyn Pierre, Sister Clarice Modest Cohen, the Honorable Kate Skeeter Lewis Peters. They had capable people. The Honorable Oliver Joseph, Mr. Nicholas Steele, capable people that were able to speak with the United States and say, yo, we go handle that. We dealing with COVID, we go handle that after. Because some people calling the year 2020 like if the year 2020 was a normal year. That everything was all well and hunky-dory in the year 2020. 2020 was a disaster. It's the worst year anybody alive at that point in time life. Anybody that say they enjoyed 2020 is a mentally ill person. It was the worst. And we all know that. So even if notification was given then, how come up to 2 years after they did not enforce it? You know why? Because you have people within the new National Party that knew how to speak with the US government to get them to hold their hands in relation to certain things and give some time to get things done. We have a caller online. Hello.
Sheldon, good night.
Hi, good night, my dear. How you doing?
Not so bad.
All right, go right ahead. You're live.
Sheldon, I see have some people commenting concerning the visa. It is not true. Sheldon, it is true. I just watching the news there on Fox. And the news give it.
No, it is true.
Sheldon, if we have people who could speak, like Emlyn Pay and Dr. Keith Mitchell in government, things would have been better. These people don't know what they're about. They look in parliament. They're cursing one another, quarreling one another like if they want to fight the people in parliament. Come on. You don't have this kind of people to talk and to say something. Look the fish ban again. Nothing happening. We go get it next week. We go get it next week and nothing happening. Sheldon, this fish ban is banned for is 1 year. Nobody will say they could do this and go, they cannot nothing. They don't know how to speak. Look what they was talking in parliament. Look what they'll be getting in parliament. Come on, like the children. It is banned. 75 countries, including Grenada, St. Kitts, Barbados, they tell you that. So I don't know what this people are talking about. Oh, he don't think and he don't this or that. Don't bother this people man. So then do what you have to do and do your work. And let people hear what you have to say and bring the facts. And one good thing with you have facts. You don't know what you're about, what you're saying. Have a good night.
All right, my dear. Yes, indeed. 4407377. And again, you can only call us on the WhatsApp. I remember you could only call us on the WhatsApp. We have not sorted out, well, not me, but they have not sorted out the lines yet. I do how to do. All right, nice, but it has not been sorted out yet. Yeah. So, my good friend, we all know the thing has been on various media out of the United States. That is where they said all. So trying to, because they feel now they hold you. Yeah, we catch him, he lying. I've been involved in the media since the year started with a 1 and not a 2. That is to tell you how long I've been involved in the media. I've been involved in print media. I've been involved in radio. I've been involved in television. I've been involved in podcasting. Yeah, social media. I've been involved in all forms of media. Since the year started with a 1, and they didn't even have social media and so now, I've been involved with the media. And not once have I ever received a letter from a lawyer, pre-action protocol, saying that you on this program or in this publication said this about me or this organization and it's untrue, and therefore we're taking you to court and I had to come and apologize because I say something that was not true. Never once, and it will not happen. Never. It has not happened, and it will not happen. Yeah? Because I know what I'm doing, isn't it? Yeah? Over 26 years I'm involved in the media. I must know what I'm doing, isn't it? Nice, right. 1473-440-7377. That's 1473-440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah. So they could, we understand, you all had to protect your political brand. So you all protecting your political brand, all well and good. Take a clap, nice. All right. You're protecting your political brand. While you're protecting your political brand, who is protecting the country? Nobody care about NDC. You care about NDC, but nobody else out here care about NDC. While you are trying to protect your political brand, some of us out here trying to protect our country. We have a call online. Go ahead, caller.
Good night, Sheldon. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm quite fine. Go right ahead.
Good, good. You see, a lot of people now trying to understand politics. A lot of people feel that politics was just a normal thing, and they was just taking it, as an ordinary business. But it is something very serious. How you not just protect yourself, but how you present yourself and present it to the media and everything, and how you deal with the situation on hands. Now we see when you get into the serious business now, you're looking for people. You're looking for words. And this is what it is now. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is now. And when even the issues like this now, we have to deal with it. Now you're looking for people to come out and deal with it. How would you face this? Yeah? It's not an easy thing. It is people, you just feel you could be a politician, right? Not everybody could be a politician. Talking in politics and by being a politician in the driver's seat is two different things. You could talk politics from outside, but when you're in the driver's seat, it's a different thing. When the situation gets into your hand, you have to really understand and deal with the situation. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of, you see, the international affairs, when you look at it, and you put it together with hours, and you have to analyze it and present it. And you ask the time, how many of our ministers today can face, or politicians, you should say, how much of our politician could face the media today, based on the truth? Very few, very, very few. And that is very sad. Yeah, that is very sad. At times you have to, speak. You don't have to have script. Yeah? But you should know how to take a decision, how to make your decisions. And this is the time now to deal with this serious business. So coming next election anytime soon or later, I urge people on the either side, we speak in general politics now. When you see a politician come to you to ask you for your vote, you have to know if that person is capable of being a minister. They're capable of addressing you and your issues, what changes you could bring to your constituency. Is he or she good enough to face the media? Does that person have the capability of facing the media? Yeah? All these things have to be taken into consideration. Yeah, because you want quality representation. This is what we need. Yeah? As I said before, you could talk politics, but being in the position and making decision making, sometimes it make it very difficult, and that is where you have to get a person who could actually deal with those issues. Yeah, have a blessed night.
All right, thank you very much, caller.
Okay.
1-473-440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to tonight's program. Yeah, I had to deal with two other issues, and I'm wondering if I should really deal with them, because them two issues, each one of them is a whole program in itself. One is the new legislation, and I'm really afraid to go into it because it is so deep, and there's so much that you need to know in relation to the legislation being put forward, that I am not sure that I should use half a program to deal with that and mix it in with another issue. The other is that there is legislation that has been put forward in relation to rainwater harvesting. And there are laws that the law is going to speak to things like, for instance, there's going to be a specific rollout in relation to mainland Grenada, and another set of things for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, where we know they already do a lot of rainwater harvesting. So it is a lot of stuff. I don't think I should really go into that tonight. I think I'm going to stick to where I am. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Mr. Scott. Happy New Year.
Same to you, my dear.
You know what I find about this government? They're lacking to give the general public information. Because if something come out on like the ban or thing, nobody will not come out and say, well, they will come to the press or come to the radio station or the TV station and explain to people, the Grenadian public, what it is about. Because sometimes we have people who do not really understand what they're really talking about. But when you send just a release on the air with a paper, don't explain it to the nation what it's about. They're lacking information. They don't tell the public about what is going on. They just putting out a release and with papers and the air or something, but nobody will come and explain to the general public what it is about, how it go about, when it take effect, when it will stop, what they're doing about it. Nothing like that. They just send a paper. This is what we get, and this is what you have to take. In the last government, we had people, when things like that happen, they will come and they explain. So, I really thank you guys that when we get these things, are you able to explain to us what is happening, which the government failed to do.
Wow. So I thank you so much for your input, my dear. And we'll continue letting the Grenadian people know the facts in relation to these issues as they come about. They could say as much as they want about lying. They may be very surprised when they finally see something coming from the State Department regarding this particular issue and other issues. Yeah, so let's pray for our country.
This time is, yes, we have to do more praying and really go down on our knees and pray, because this is really getting bad. It's getting really, really bad. You have a good night.
All right. Thank you so very much, my dear.
Okay.
Let me just say to you all, I said I didn't want to go deeply into it, but I just want to mention certain things here. For instance, let me just give you all some of what the government intends to do. Now, if you are going to be building, they're looking to pass that law soon, if you are building a new property, a new building in the state of Grenada, they are going to call on you to ensure that before they give you any permission to build that new property, you will have to include in it a design for a rainwater catchment system. Similar to how Carriacou people build their house and they have the water tank, right? They filter the water down and everything, right? Now, you have to get an engineer to make sure that that is done. Yeah? Any new property over 250 square feet, right, would have to have a rainwater catchment system as part of the design that you had to pay for. There's additional things that you got to pay for and so on, right? Then existing buildings, so all buildings in Grenada that are over 250 square feet will have to put in a rainwater catchment system too. But that rainwater catchment system has to be done. They're giving you 5 years to do it from the point in time that they pass that law. So if that law is passed now, within 5 years from now, you have to put in and approved. You can't just go and say, well, we put in a cistern or we put in some tank and we filter the water to that. No, because they have specific things that the Ministry of Health has to come and check on with that rainwater system, and that NAWASA, either they or they could subcontract to some group of individuals or company to come and double check your plumbing, your fitting, and all these things in relation to your rainwater system. Yeah? So they have these two things, these two groups of people that have to come and check it out. Yeah? And then they have things in relation to farmers, like if you dig a pond and so on and you have to fill it, if they're going to exempt and under what conditions they're going to exempt. So you have your farm, some farmers may dig a pond on the land and allow rainwater and so to fill it and then use that to water the plants and so on. They're saying that they're going to take charge of that under this rainwater harvesting thing. All of that will fall under that particular thing. They're going to set water quality standards. So like you can't have roof. I don't know who does still have roof with asbestos and thing anyway. and lead coated roof. If your roof have lead on it, you're going to end up having to change your roof, because then you will not be allowed to have a rainwater system with a roof that have lead on it, so the water would pass and pick up the lead and so and go down. Or asbestos, no. If it is painted, your roof is painted, but your roof is painted with particular chemicals that may seep into the water when water fall on it, then there are things like rules, like you have to keep it clean, keep your gutter in and thing. So there are a set of things. So it's not just that they're going to pass a thing, and yeah, that sounds good, everybody should use rainwater. Yes, I believe everybody should use rainwater and so on. Again, it is not what you do, it is how you do it. I think we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
I am very well, my friend. Very well.
All right. Yes.
Awesome.
Go right ahead, man. I'm making all the voice there, even though I hear you low in my headphones, but I think if I raise you, you'll get it started. So go right ahead.
I don't want to be distorted because I want to be explicit.
Yeah, man. Go and go through.
I think our current government needs a full lesson in diplomacy, diplomatic relations. I am not sure if it is too late. I'm not sure if it is worthwhile, or maybe it is worthwhile, even if not for their ability to govern, because they would lose that, but for their lives moving forward after politics. It is important that they understand diplomacy. On such a sensitive issue, our Prime Minister has continued to remain silent. On so many sensitive issues that affect our nation. And I don't believe for 1 minute that he understands the gravity of what he is playing with. You cannot rule this country like if it's Facebook Live, like if it's your own house. Like, you see, when these young people was jumping up in Parliament and talking a pack of nonsense, when opposition people talking and the gallery themselves and gallivanting, they thought that is what governance was, you know. They actually thought that governance was putting on a show in Parliament and getting likes on Facebook. That is what they actually thought this was. Now, what is facing us is proper geopolitical, and these guys don't understand. And they are at sea. And that is costing our country. And I don't believe that Grenada could tolerate much of this anymore, because we are going to find ourselves in some very strange positions. For the benefit of those who support the government that are listening to this program, let me give them a message to go back and give Deacon. You do not play around. When somebody asks you a question as part of a bilateral conversation, you do not avoid it. You give them an answer, and you state your position for that answer, and then you relate that position to the general public, so that we, the members of the general public, would have an appreciation for what you would have said and why you would have said it, because we sent you there to represent us. Take a page from Fitzgerald Bramble of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I want to compliment Mr. Bramble, because maybe Mr. Bramble should be the foreign minister for Grenada as well. Because our minister for foreign affairs is mute. They're all, and I feel we deserve much better than that. This is not a laughing matter. No, this is not swinging political axes. This is really genuine concern, and we all.
Jason, you've gone off there. I am not sure if a call came through on your end or what, but you've been disconnected. Hello? And I hope that we get him back, because I think he was just getting into his thing there. And it's a shame. Jason? Hello? Hopefully we will reconnect. Oh, yeah, he's been disconnected somehow. Let me give him a minute or two so that he can call back. I'm not sure what took place there, right? Let me see if I can give him a minute or two, or if I should call him back. I wonder if next thing I call him back and he call him back at the same time, you know. Let me try. Why is it not giving me the option to call? What is the matter here? Yeah, I'm not sure what is happening there. I was trying to call him back, and I'm not even getting the option to call Jason back. I don't know, probably his phone has gone off or something. Yeah, I'm not even getting the option to call him. Okay, here it is. This is probably why. Hi, Jason. Hello?
I had absolutely no clue what happened there.
Yeah, you just cut off, and I was trying to call you back, but I wasn't even getting the option to call you back. But you go right ahead before it happens again.
Right. And I am saying, I don't know, I think you may have lost me when I said that maybe Mr. Bramble should be the foreign minister for Grenada as well, while he's foreign minister for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if I was a Vincentian, I would have felt so comforted, so relieved that at least the government minister has come forward and said something of substance
Mm-hmm.
in relation to a matter. But our government continues to duck every single matter of national importance. When our prime minister is not in the sky, he's on the ground mute. And really and truly, I don't know how long we can tolerate this. 5 years has to come very quickly. And if he realizes that he can't do the job, or maybe he doesn't want to do it anymore, then we could understand that and we empathize with you. Then just give us the date and we'll help you starting from 6 o'clock on any given morning that you so choose.
Listen, Jason, I'm willing to offer my services to help him pack to leave the office too, you know. We helping him
I'm
pack.
not helping him do nothing.
Nah, helping
I'm
him
not
pack.
helping
That's how
him
much
do
I want him
nothing.
go. Helping him pack and all.
I'm not helping him do nothing. Watch me. Sheldon, let me explain something to you. Yeah? I go through Facebook and I see a message come from the party arm of the National Democratic Congress with the public relations officer, Ron Redhead, talking and talking a heaping of garbage. No, and I'm using the word garbage not in relation to the contents, but in relation to the attitude. Now, the next lesson I want to give them, because I just gave them a lesson in protocol and diplomatic relations. In public relations, in politics, the government has to first speak on the issue. If it is a matter concerning foreign policy, then we expect to hear firstly from the Minister for Foreign Affairs. And if it is a matter that leads to one that involves national security, then after the Minister for Foreign Affairs speaks, we expect to hear from the Minister for National Security, in this case, one that is the Prime Minister. When the government speaks on those matters and puts forward a position, then the party that formed the government can use its party arm to want to talk and say anything they want to say to defend the government. That is their right.
Mm-hmm.
But Ron Redhead can't come and talk to me and address me before no minister do it. Ron Redhead could kiss. Ron Redhead can't speak to me before a government minister does on a sensitive matter like this. Who the hell is he? So Ron has files that is of a private nature from the Integrity Commission that he could do an investigation. And no, Ron could speak to me on a matter of foreign policy before the government does it. Well, this is not the tail wagging the dog. This is the fur making a ball and sticking it down, we blast the throat. What is this? What What is this?
And you know, we are expected to stay silent. We're not supposed to say anything. So we see international news networks putting out this information, and we are supposed to remain silent. We're not supposed to say anything. We are supposed to remain quiet in relation to it. We are not supposed to have any view in relation to it, because if we do that, it seems as though we're unpatriotic, we don't like our country or some sort of thing like that.
Let me tell you what that is. Let me tell you what that is. And for the benefit of all of you who are viewing this program and listening to this program and who will be viewing and listening to English, let me tell you what this is. Where we are right now in 2026 is we are reliving a newer version of 1979 to 1983. That version is the version where the policy that controls the system is saying to us, we will tell you only what we think you need to know. We will speak to you only when we feel we want to speak to you. You will say nothing, or we will chastise you and we will place you in a category. Back then it was put you in prison. Now what we will do is that we will take away your livelihood. Your bread and butter will be cut short. You ought to say absolutely nothing. You are either on board with us or you will suffer the consequences. That is what we are living in now.
Mm-hmm.
We are reliving in a modernized version of the policies of 1979 to 1982. And I beg anybody to show me different.
My brother, our country is at a crossroad at this point in time. In fact, I think it passed the crossroad, and I think it down a particular road now. It passed the crossroad.
Where are we on a precipice?
Yeah, he going down a particular road, and there's a precipice there. And if we continue heading the direction we're heading, in the way that we're heading, with the incompetence leadership, or lack of leadership thereof, that we have in Grenada at this point in time, we may see worse things happening. We hope not. We pray not. We plead with the Almighty not. We hope that something like that, worse than whatever is happening now, never happens. But if the individuals who are supposed to be in charge of this country, and I say supposed to be because they don't operate like they're in charge, the individuals are supposed to be in charge, do not correct course soon, we are going to find ourselves in a very precarious situation. We might be hanging off the end of the cliff and the last two tread on the rope about to bust.
I heard Alan Basinski say something a few years ago. Businessman, or I should say, former businessman, Alan Basinski, said something a few years ago. And while myself and Mr. Basinski never shared a lot of the same sentiments on a number of issues, he is somebody I choose to listen to because I could understand his reasoning. And he was very meticulous and metaphorical. And he said one day to me in a conversation, the people in charge must learn to take charge. Mm-hmm. And if you can't change the people you're with, then change the people you're with.
Mm-hmm. A lot that might have gone over some people's head.
Yeah. He said, if you can't change the people around you, then change the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the people in charge must take charge. And I would never forget those words. I live by them now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my brother.
So weak leadership is when there is leadership. In Grenada's case, leadership is non-existent.
They ain't leading a ship, they ain't leading a sheep, they ain't leading nothing. They ain't leading a ministry, a department, nothing.
I really thought I heard you. I thought I heard you said leadership. Sorry, I said leadership.
Because let me tell you something. You're telling me that the minister of Foreign Affairs, and he doesn't have to be in Grenada to do it, couldn't just pull his device like this, set it somewhere, and call into GBN, call into MTV News, call into GIS, and do a quick something that could be put out. You're telling me they can't do that? Even that can't be done?
You see, and Sheldon, that is what would have made it even more genuine. What would have made it more genuine is exactly what you're saying, because you see, you understand public relations and you understand public relations in politics. That would have made it more genuine. The fact that somebody would look at it and say, wow, the minister just pull his phone and do this and say that when he come back, he will do something properly, but at least we hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, when you are not genuine and you don't have a genuine bone in your body, you can't do nothing genuine.
And there's also the other issue there, that it seems as though no man move unless the Prime Minister there to be on the press conference. And if he indeed can't take place, or if he don't give you blessing and tell you exactly what you could go there and say, you can't go. Because he has to be the one, he has to be the face, he has to be the one there speaking, and he has to be the one to put forward everything, even though you're the minister, he has to be there. So it seems as though
I want you to remember
none of these
something.
ministers could speak unless he says speak.
I want you to remember something, and I'm going to paraphrase here. And for the benefit of your listeners and your viewers, I want all of you to remember something. Remember this phrase. With all due respect to the Ministry of Tourism and the Board of Tourism, I am the biggest seller of Grenada. So when I travel, people who never heard of Grenada would have heard of me. Put that into context when you get a chance.
My brother Jason, always good having a conversation with you, my brother. As I said, the door is always, well, not the door. You ain't come inside my door just so you know, brother. No. But the door is always open, my brother. So feel free to give us a call at any time.
My brother, we have to speak on a separate matter. We will do so under four eyes, but as we normally do. But yes. But keep up the good work. Keep up the good work and keep on keeping people informed. And we do appreciate it.
All right, no problem, my brother. Thank you so very much.
Yes, man.
All right, great. Yes, indeed, folks. That's my good brother Jason Skeet there. Yeah, my birthday brother. Boy, just this year the celebration on my end gotta be kind of different than normal, you know. Yeah. It must be different than normal. Yeah. Yes, indeed. 1473-440-7377. That's 1473-440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. What I've realized is that during the day today, the internet was cutting off on my end from different devices. It would stay on some devices. It would cut off from some devices. And I realized as well that some other folks been having one or two issues with the internet. So I'll find out tomorrow from the service provider, Flow, if there is an issue, maybe in my area or with my router, whatever it is, if there's an issue, I'll find out from them. Yeah, because about 2 or 3 people told me that they're having a little problem with the stream itself, especially with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi in particular having a little problem. So we'll see what can be done in relation to that, because we want to make sure that we have the program properly. And I did mention to you all that I don't want to go deeply into it because now it's just about an half hour. It doesn't make sense going deeply into it. But let me just tell you all 1 or 2 things about, we're going to leave the cannabis one alone for now, for total. And no, last night, let me just mention one thing with it. Last night did mention where they talk about the amounts of cocaine and so let's just clarify. What they are saying in the law is simply this. If you have under a gram of cocaine, they arrest you. It's an illegal substance, whether under a gram or over a gram. So they are going to arrest you, but you will be charged with possession. Yeah? So you'll be charged with just possession of a controlled substance, to with cocaine. Right? Nice. If you are caught with more than a gram, you'll be charged with possession, but you will also be charged with the offense of trafficking as well. Because it will be considered that not only do you have for your personal use, but you either go in and sell or you're carrying some for somebody or something. So you will be charged with trafficking as well. The same goes for morphine and all the other things. But as I said, we're going to go deeper into the cannabis legislation. Let's say tomorrow night we did do the first hour on cannabis. The second hour we can deal with the rainwater. And I ain't seen anybody willing to help with the Friday program, so no Friday program as far as I'm concerned, unless I see folks willing to help with the Friday program. It does not really make much sense for me to go the Friday program unless folks chip in to have that done, especially with the new setup. It's a bit of a problem. Yeah? So folks, yeah. So tomorrow we're going to do the first hour, the second hour on the rainwater harvesting, because you have to understand some things. One, it's going to significantly, there's going to be a serious cost implication for people who are building new homes, because now they have to seriously consider the type of roof that they're putting on. You can't put on any roof. Yeah, you have to put on a roof that does not have chemicals that when the rain fall on it, the chemicals seep out of the roof, go into the water that you're then going to have into your cistern or your tank or whatever it is that your design has. So no asbestos roof, no lead line roof, no roof that have certain paint and thing on it. And then for the people who have the 5 years to install the new system, it means as well that if you have any of them roof, you have to go and change it. So prepare yourself that the roof that you have on your house, the house that you may have completed last year, that within 5 years you might have to go and change it if the roof, because you must, they're not saying that you have the choice of putting in a rainwater system or not putting in a rainwater system. They are saying the houses have to put in the rainwater system. And if your roof rusty, you have a too rusty galvanized on your roof, you have to go and change it to put in your rainwater system. Once the house, your building, is 250 square feet, yeah? 250 square feet or above, you definitely have to put in a rainwater catchment system. And you will have to change the type of roof if the roof doesn't fall in line with what the Planning Development Authority says that you should have, and the Ministry of Health and the National Water and Sewage Authority does not confirm. They say that roof, no, they had the wrong type of roof. You have to change that. And as we know, changing a roof is not a cheap thing. Changing a roof is not a $2,000 and $3,000 thing. Changing a roof, and especially for the buildings that they're speaking about here, 250 square feet and above, changing a roof in those sort of circumstances could cost people as high as $250,000. You think, Aline? $250,000 according to the size of your roof, the type of materials that it is made from, and ensuring that it is hurricane strong, because you ain't going and do any work on your roof unless you're going to make sure that it is hurricane proof. Well, as close as hurricane proof as you could get. Yeah, unless you could make sure that that is the situation, you ain't going and do it. Yeah, but you have no choice, because now they're saying that you have to do it. So new buildings, definitely, you have to be very careful with the type of roof that you're going and put in, because this legislation is coming, It's out there for public consultation now. If they're not going to speak about it, I'm going to speak about it. And you also have to take this rainwater law, harvesting law into consideration along with the act, the Water Act that was passed late last year. Yeah, that gave NOASA certain powers. So you have to look at both of them in conjunction. So homeowners, within that 5-year period, are going to have to dip deeper in the pocket, one, probably to change their roof, and secondly, to put in place the rainwater system, catchment system. So all the pipes, the system to avoid the flow back and all those kind of things, yeah. All that had to put in that system. So it is something some people may say, yeah, that is a good thing and so on. But together with this, because if you're doing this, together with this, what is being done to lower the cost for the homeowners are all taxes in relation to the various bits and pieces that have to be used for these rainwater system. Are they going to be reduced, removed totally? Because I know that's what the new National Party would do, and the new National Party make even call on the government to do. That if you're saying you had to do something like this, the party would say, a new National Party government would have said, hey, you want the people to do this, but it's going to cost them. So here's what we're going to say. Okay, you have 5 years, 10 years to do it, and we are reducing the taxes on all the bits and pieces that you need to use for that period of time. Yeah, we have a caller online. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon. Good night, Talking Points.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing cool, brother.
All right.
Sheldon,
hey, hold on, Mr.
the word
Mr.
competence.
Handsome Vexy, and your name called tonight. Hey, Papa, yo. Go right ahead, brother.
Yes, Sheldon, the word incompetence rings well with this government right now. You know, the reason why I say that? I happened to listen Honorable PM Monday night, and she was giving the explanation for the fish ban, what took place January this year, January 1st, and she was giving the reasons what happened in 2017. So 17, 18, 19, fair enough, right? The people give them the requirements, didn't get it done. Then they give them an extension up to December 2022. So are we forgetting what happened in 2019, 2010, 2020, 2021, and probably in January, February, March in 2022? Because I remember a certain leader of the NDC who was not prime minister was elected over Zoom because of a certain pandemic that was going around. So which means most of all things was locked down basically. We had a serious lockdown because we had a certain number of deaths going around, you know. So let's forget 2022. So you're telling me 23, 24, 25, which is 3 years that passed, this government couldn't get that together and get this thing back on track? I'm just trying to figure if my math's right. Am I correct so far?
Boss, what I'm telling you is simply this. I said it earlier in the program. There's a reason for the fishing ban, for instance, for the fishing ban, right? That you heard about it in the years before and it was never implemented. Is because you had competent people who were dealing with the issue. Now you have incompetent people. As of 2022, you have a group of incompetent people dealing with the issue. And here's the thing, you know there are competent people within the government service that could deal with that issue. You know the problem is the lack of leadership of these people. I know there are people within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the fishing department, and the Ministry of Fisheries and so on. There are people, competent people who know what to do and are in those departments. The problem is the lack of leadership of these people, because these people were the same people that were there during the period of the new National Party and they didn't have no fishing ban in place. Why? Because they knew who to talk to, they knew who to explain things to, and they were given the opportunity to do that with proper leadership that took charge, took leadership and dealt with these issues. Now you have a group of people that don't know what to do, refuse to ask a question, and acting like they're God's gift to intelligence, and they are out there making a mess of everything.
Sheldon, we, in the space of 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks and 4 days in the year so far, we have basically a visa freeze, we have a travel advisory, and we have a fishing ban. Are you telling me not even one of these government ministers who are in charge of these particular ministries can come out and give a coherent statement? I know, just listen to the ambassador for Antigua, giving a response to this visa thing again. And you telling me, just like Mr. Skeet rightly said, you are the PRO of a political party who is not a member of the cabinet, not a minister, making government statements that the foreign minister is supposed to be making. What's going on in this place here? And you have people that support this government saying things happening and they're doing good? Grenada is all crazy? I mean, now, boy.
Let me answer you on behalf of all Grenadians. No, we are not crazy.
Well, you know, and to make matters
we are
worse.
Not stupid either, eh? Yeah, let me just clarify.
I know, and to make matters worse, and I will say good night to Miss Nolene Thompson also for making a statement of what's been happening, right? And you know, the thing about these things, when these things happen, the Prime Minister never seems to be around. And well, right now I'm with you on island because, you know, and then they come with the distraction or the cannabis bill, right? So now they're trying to catch everybody. And I listened to the whole session today. What they're talking about. This thing have more restriction than anything else in it, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but better you all stay from that because trust me, to me, it's just an election gimmick, and that is what I see it as. It may be good for who want to use the thing medicinal, but for me, I see the demographic that they want to go behind and who they're going behind, and they know what they're doing. That to me,
brother, I've said it on this program before. If I've not said it on this program before, I probably have said it to folks on one-on-one. Anytime you see the NDC administration come with the legalization of cannabis, tell yourself election coming right after. Within
well, I listen to this.
My personal view, within 6 months of them passing that legislation, look out for elections.
Right, but kudos to Mr. Bramble and the ambassador for Antigua and them because these people are talking it, and I'm saying.
Not Antigua, brother. That is next door, boy. That Vinci, boy. That Friday people, boy.
No, yeah, Friday I see Bramble and I see the one from Antigua. I just watched it there.
I ain't see the one from Antigua yet, so I have to look for that one.
But I will send it to you. But right. That is that. But anyhow, folks, have a good night. Am I listening?
All right, brother. Blessings.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, folks. 4407377. You can call us on the WhatsApp. And times like this, I'm sorry we don't have the direct line, because I know that some people want to call the direct line. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, the cannabis one, I ain't even touching that tonight. But let's tell all you a bit about the rainwater one, because I want all you to know, all you go have to dip in all your pocket deep. Yeah? All of you out there in the Grenadian diaspora and you have your property home, know that this cost is coming to you, eh? Know that this cost is coming your direction. Yeah, we have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello. Hello. Okay. Hi. You're live.
Good night.
Well, I don't understand what you're doing there. Go right ahead, brother.
Mongozo, we need a Mongozo to fix. Good night. I don't understand. Hear me?
Now we're hearing you, but you're listening to the radio in the back, and by now you should know not to do that.
Okay, I'm sorry. But good night, Miss Kami. And Mongozo really need fixing, Royal family fixing. Mr. Prime Minister, if you're listening, if your team listening, we need some package of Mr. Mongozo and laughing. So put a pot and smoke, put a pipe and smoke it.
No. We ain't encouraging people to smoke for them to get emphysema and all them kind of thing. Anyway, all right, bye, brother. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, indeed. 14734407377. Yeah, we're giving you the opportunity to call. Yeah, so let's make it clear again. You all who are listening to this program, you all have sense. You all didn't go to school and lime outside under a tree. You all went into the classroom. Those of you that did not have the opportunity of that, life has taught you. So you are intellectual through life. So we know that as intelligent people listening to this program tonight. Because there's where the intelligent people does come. They just come here to listen and have a discussion, right? They don't go other place. They just come here. If the United States, I'm going to repeat it, if the United States is trying to keep out people from staying in their place, who they don't want stay in their place, it's not the immigrant visa alone they're going to go after. Because over 60, and I just using as a figure, I'm pretty sure it's probably close to over 80% of the people who overstay their time in the United States. Because you ain't likely to overstay your time if you have an immigrant visa. But if you have a non-immigrant visa, a tourist visa, a student visa, a business visa, those class of visas, if you have one of those, you are more likely to overstay. That they tell you, you'll give you 3 months, and next thing you're there for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. And again, don't call and say earlier, because next thing they monitor the phone call. But many of you that listening from the diaspora tonight, many of you know for a fact that what I'm saying is true. Because the vast majority of you, that's how you get in the United States. Your visa was not an immigrant visa. Your visa was a normal visa. Yes, there are many of you that relatives went up and after a while they send for you and you come up, but you are in the minority compared to the many people who went up there on a B1, B2 visa. So it's obvious they will not just go after that sooner rather than later. They're going to go after the other category as well. And we have to ask ourselves an important question at this point in time. And I'll go back to come forward. In the 2022 budget, the new National Party side said to the government, be careful about focusing too heavily on CBI revenue as your main source of income for funding your budget and what government has to do. In other words, funding the budget. Be careful. If you go back, you can hear Honorable Emlyn Pierre, you can hear Dr. Mitchell, you could hear Skeeter, you could hear the whole new National Party side saying it in 2022, in 2023, in 2024, and again in 2025. You could have heard the new National Party team in the budget debate giving that warning to the government. Be careful about focusing too heavily and relying too heavily on CBI income. Now remember, a lot of the folks who are going behind Grenada's passports through the CBI program, those individuals, which visa you think they want? The same non-immigrant visa is what they want, you know. They didn't want the visitor's visa, the B1, B2. They want that one as much, you know. If that is where they get to go take it. But what they really want is the next visa, because some of them see it as an avenue for them to eventually be able to go to the United States and then end up living in the United States, not just visit. There are some who they mind the B1, B2 because it's business. They're business people. They just want to go on business or to spend some time holidaying and that kind of thing. But if now you're having a problem with the immigrant visa, it will affect your CBI down the road. Because the benefits that people are looking for from your passport are being removed one by one. Remember, they already had the economic visa, the E2 visa. That was already removed from people who gain citizenship by investment. They are not able to gain that visa already. So that cherry that was being sold to them, that can't be used again. Now you're having another one that's going to affect. And in addition to that, you have legislation that's being proposed to the United States Congress that deals negatively, harshly with countries that have CBI programs. Again, 2022, 2023, 2024, and again in 2025, the new National Party team warned this government, be careful how much you focus heavily on CBI revenue as your main source of income. They ain't listen. They ain't listen. And now, with all that is happening there, we want to see what happened with CBI and wishing nothing bad. I just stated facts. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Hi, my dear.
Good night. I need some I need some clarification on that still.
Mm-hmm.
The freeze, is it on non-immigrant visa or visas for permanent residency?
Well, you see, the thing is, we have to hear from the U.S. government is who we need to hear from in relation to that. Because we have releases out of the United States that initially said all visas. All. That word was used. All.
It says all. It says all visas.
No, but hold on. Let's just take it piece by piece here because we want people to understand. So that is what was said by some, but that was not said by the source that had to say, the official source, which is the U.S. government Department of State. So we are waiting to hear from the Department of State exactly what they are proposing, what will be enforced as of next week, Wednesday, So by tomorrow, at least, we think government should be hearing, hey, this is what we're doing. Then we will know if it is only immigrant visas or if it is immigrant and non-immigrant, if it is all visas, including diplomatic. We don't know. When we hear from the State Department, we will know for a fact. But in the interim, what we have heard from the US networks initially was all visas. Afterwards, they started to change the language and put it more to immigration visas, immigrant visas. So we are not sure because still we haven't seen anything come out official from Marco Rubio. We haven't seen anything from the State Department. So until that point in time, nobody could say anybody lying. We are asking a question at this point in time based on the information from what we consider to be credible sources when it comes to information from the US government. And I know some people cussing and saying, Sheldon, Fox News, listen, I don't buy into this nonsense that is being fed by people out there. This news is incredible, that news is incredible. All news have some level of credibility, and so according to what they're doing and how they're doing it, you know where they're coming from when they're doing things. They slant, so you read between the lines with it. But when it comes to information from this present US government, we know that Fox News gets it firsthand. So if they say all and others say all, then what do you expect us to say down here? Some? Why do you think
Sheldon, that is why Sheldon, that is why I asked the question. Is it all visas? Is it non-immigrant visa? Or is it visas for permanent residents? Immigrant and let's say immigrant and non-immigrant. Because the marathon I'm seeing that is being run here, Sheldon, I'm wondering what is going on. You see, because everybody's casting blame and accusing and saying things. The question is it all visas? That is what we must ask first. Or is it a special category of visa? It's as simple as that. And as it rightfully says, we are waiting on the US to know exactly what type of visas. But everybody just running a marathon. You understand? That is, to me, that is the most important question. Is it all visas or is it a specific type of visas? Everybody just saying what they want, and pointing fingers. So, thank you very much. You are listening.
Yes, my dear. Thank you so very much. Yes, indeed. And that's the thing. We need to hear from the US exactly what it is that they intend to do. Because remember, I nearly said last year, let me just take this call and I'll get back to that particular one. Good night.
It is that they
Hello. Hello, good night, caller. Just lower the volume in the background and go ahead. Hello.
Let me just take this call and I'll get back to that particular one. Good night.
Caller, just lower the volume in the background and go ahead. We're hearing everything there. Hearing myself talking in the background.
Okay, no problem.
Kill the volume.
I'm going to cut that down. I'll cut it down.
Yeah.
And I'm calling all the way from Tampa, Florida.
All right, my brother. You go right ahead.
Okay, Sheldon, one of the things everybody worried about the visa is very important, but the visa situation is right now all visas. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people is not even worried about. There's another situation that is written by Trump that he's about to move and take away all Social Security payments on people who's living out of the United States. And there's a lot of Grenadians in Grenada who is living in Grenada collecting Social Security still. And they come here for treatment once a year or whatever the situation. All those payments is going to be lifted from all people outside who's living outside of the United States. So that's another big issue that we have to look into.
That's going to take away the livelihood of quite a few pensioners, retirees who are back in Grenada, retirees who are here. They're going to lose their benefits.
Right. That's right. So, but that's going to be applicable to all people around the world who has citizenship and living outside of the United States in any part of the world, he's taken away all their social security payments.
So that's on the federal level. Is there nothing that at the state level that could be done to protect individuals? For instance, New York State. Is there nothing that could be done at that level, even though he makes that pronouncement on the federal level? How does that affect payments that people are getting from the state level?
Well, if you really go in on the Social Security website, you will see that law is already applicable. So they doing a lot of underhanded things on the books right now.
So that particular thing may have been part of the big, beautiful bill, because there were a lot of stuff inside there that people didn't get a chance
Didn't
to
know
read.
about,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so
That's a
there's a
hard
lot
one
of
for a lot of folks. That is believe me, you raise a very, very important one there. I think there are a lot of people that probably didn't even know that, and they are
Right.
beneficiaries.
Right, and I'm calling you all the way from Tampa, Florida. So that's good information I'm giving you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so very much, caller.
All right,
And
have a
don't be
great day.
Don't be a stranger. Don't lose the number. Keep it safe.
All right.
We want to hear from you again. Thank you so very much. All right. Yes, indeed, folks. Wow. That is a hard one, because we know that there are quite a few people who may have worked in the United States for many, many decades and have retired home. And according to that caller, these individuals are at the point now of losing those benefits. There are other things too, that may affect Grenada. Another part of that bill was one that dealt with the call centers. Yeah, and in case you all don't know, the law has been passed in the United States already that deals with call centers outside of the United States. And what they're attempting to do is get the companies who have these call centers to relocate back to the United States. Now, many of these companies have call centers in places like Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, and so on. And in these call centers, the United States government assists the company with different benefits from time to time. Not necessarily that the benefits go to the workers in those call centers, but the US government gives them different benefits, which they are going to lose if they do not relocate to the US. In other words, close the call centers in Grenada, in Dominica, in St. Lucia, and only keep call centers open in the United States, providing jobs for Americans. That is the only point in time that they that they will be able to receive the benefits that the US government was giving them before. So there is a danger, and we know how many people work in the call center industry here in Grenada, in St. Andrew, down here in the south of the island. We know how many people work in those call centers, and the possibility is that those call centers, if they are US based, if they're Canadian based, well, they're good to go. They don't have to worry about that. But if they are US based, yeah, the companies are US company, but they're operating outside of the US, that they are going to be forced to bring those jobs back to the United States. Yeah? So all of these things are things that are in the lineup. As I said, week 1, fish ban. Week 2, travel advisory. Week 3, visa issues now. We really, week 4, yeah, we will see what coming up. Hopefully week 4 ain't going nothing. Hopefully week 4 will just be a nice, calm week and everything. Yeah, hopefully that week will be a nice, calm, quiet week. Everything will be nice, cool. The rest of the month, hopefully the rest of the year, but we're keeping out hope. We never know. Yeah? And at least we hope to hear from our government. Yeah, we hope to hear from our government what is taking place when it comes to these issues and what they are doing to incentivize. Because probably if they get certain incentives from the government of Grenada, the call centers may say, well, it may outweigh certain things in the US. They may maintain a presence here, even if it's a smaller presence, they may maintain a presence in Grenada also. But it takes people that understand these things and with negotiation skills. So you can't send dunce like Ron and them. Yeah? You can't send C to B and all them kind of people. You can't send F to B and F to C and all. You can't send these dunce people to go and negotiate these things and them. You can't send a man to negotiate fishing who taking a tie and throw it over his shoulder. Yes, it's his style. Yes, it's an anti-colonial thing, an African thing. But just don't wear a tie at all. If you can't wear it proper, don't wear it at all. It's up to you. That's you that buying your tie, no, not me. I just saying, don't go by President Trump like that because he will put you out of the office. Brzezinski went wearing combat uniform, went and go to meet Trump, and where Vance and Trump tell him, them men and them dress him down, you know. Yeah, and after that, he making sure he put on a suit when he go by them. So understand, these are the people that we have. That is who we have right now. We have better people, but we have to do what is necessary to get the better people into the position to do the work on behalf of Grenada. Yeah? The present U.S. administration is only a year this month, you know, a year last week. Yeah, just a year last week. They got 3 years to go. Yeah? 3 years to go. Meanwhile, we, if all things are equal, have at least another, another 18 or so months under this administration if they go down to the wire, about 18 months, I think, would roughly be about that. If this administration decides that they're going straight down to the wire, we have probably about 18 months remaining with this administration here in Grenada. So imagine the damage that could continue to be done to Grenada over that period of time if this government remains in office. It is time for them to pack up and go. And yes, I'm willing to help them pack. I'm willing to help them pack. Yeah? It's time for them to pack up and go. Guan. As my grandmother would say, Guan. Time for them to pack up and go. And the only way that we can ensure that they pack up and go is that, one, we have to organize ourselves properly. I often say it. I've said it in other countries. I'll say it here. A fully organized and energized new national party is unbeatable. There is no political party in the state of Grenada, and I dare say even outside the state of Grenada, that could beat a fully organized and energized new national party. Yeah? Once you see NNP out there and they walk in for the victory, NNP doesn't lose. In fact, NNP does win all the seats. We saw it. We saw it in 1999. We saw it in 2013. We saw it in 2018. Once you have a fully organized and energized new national party, it may have no beating the NNP. And therefore, it is up to us to energize and to organize. Yeah? For the battle ahead. And I'm telling you, don't think it's any walkover. It's a battle. Because money go spend. All kind of dirty tactics go be used. And then they're trying to use others, a third party, and trying to give you the option of be vexed with NNP and don't vote for them, but vote for the other party, and all their people voting for them still. So if you like what is taking place in Grenada right now, you know what option you have. But if you do not like what is taking place in Grenada, and you know that better can come, better will come, and better must come, you only have one choice, and that's the new national party under the leadership of the Honorable Emmeline Pierre. One choice, one leader, one aim and objective, which is to ensure that we save Grenada from the crisis that we're heading into at this point in time. And caller, you're a bit late because it's nearly 10 o'clock. So we have no choice but to ensure, and don't make the mistake and say, well, you ain't voting for NDC and you ain't voting for NNP and you put the vote anywhere else. It's a vote for the NDC. The only vote for the NNP is when you go in the polling station, you look for the symbol of the new national party and you place your vote next to that. That is the only vote for a new national party. Any other vote you vote, you're voting for the NDC. You're voting to maintain the status quo. You're voting to keep Deacon Mitchell in office as the Prime Minister of this country, along with his incompetent bunch. The people who, when the world is talking about this news right now, their argument is that it has 75 other people. Who the hell care about the other 75 people? Let me repeat it. Who in the hell care about the other 75 people? We don't care about the other countries. We care about us, our people. Your neighbor house on fire, wet yours. We care about Grenada. Don't tell us about Ghana. And don't tell us about Eritrea and Iran and Iraq. And tell us about Grenada. That is who we care about. That is where we live. And that is where some of us neighbors drink berry. So this is the only country that we care about when it comes to these things. When we sort ourselves out, we go help the others. But we have to sort ourselves out first. But with this incompetent group of individuals, can't finish a cliff project, making Mawet with a water project, all sorts of nonsense. And by the way, all I realize, as I end, all I realize all of a sudden the minister implementation disappear. Boy, what is they are starring again? Yeah, what really taking place between he and he boss and them? Because all I realize, yeah, the minister implementation used to be very vociferous and all that. We not seeing him, we not hearing him. Yeah, maybe that's all I seen him certain places and hearing him. I don't see him, I don't hear him. Usually he used to try to take over social media. I hear individuals call and say they're talking on his behalf. We didn't vote for the individuals. Those who vote for him, vote for he. They didn't vote for anybody else. Yeah? But anyway, there's another story for another night. Folks, that is all the time we have on Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and not about you tomorrow night. Yes, we're going to be speaking cannabis. We're going to be speaking the rainwater laws and so on. Tonight is Wednesday. So tomorrow should be Simon Says. And remember, folks, I'm looking forward to hearing from you all, those of you that are willing to make your donation so we can do the expansion of the program and we can get back onto terrestrial radio. And also we'll have the utilities and so that we have to pay at this location and different things like that. So we're looking for your assistance. Folks, as I said, that's all the time we have. In whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and definitely not about you. I am out.
Think about it first. Boy, mommy, oh, hey, hey, dan dan do, di dan da da. Hey, oh boy, as a calypso, the true voice of the people. To lead you on the right path, I'm responsible. The decisions you make not only decides your fate, but is an entire country. It could make or break. The Lord power been vested in you from the day that you were born. We are king and queens, we have control, not to be used as any pawn. That God-given gift so we can know what is right from what is wrong. And in everything that we do, always in for positive outcome. Look before you leave, cause what you sow you reap. Look before you end up in a big heap of. Look before you leave, for curiosity take a peep. Look before you end up drowning in the deep. What I'm trying to tell you, don't jump unless you're sure about it. Don't jump, don't act like you're mad. Don't jump, it might be too dangerous. Think about it first. Don't jump, once you leave the rock. Don't jump, and not turning back. No, no, try to avoid disaster. Oh, yo, yo. Don't let selfishness and greed be your hindrance. This will surely block your way once given a chance. And or you could end up following clowns, or you could be like birds that should be soaring, but somehow can't get off the ground. With every step that you'll be taking, make sure you take a long hard look. And one thing to always remember, the cover can't help you judge the book. Look before you read, cause what you sow you reap. Look before you end up in a pile of look before you leave. For curiosity, take a peek. Look before you end up drowning in the deep. What I'm trying to tell you, don't jump unless you show about it. Don't jump, don't act like you're mad. Don't jump, it might be too dangerous. Think about it first. Don't jump, once you leave the rock. Don't jump, and no turning back. No, no, think about it, my brother. Don't invest in anything you don't know about, and don't take chances if you are ever in doubt. You must thoroughly investigate. You can't afford to make no mistake, but by the time you realize it's already late. Be there shooting at what you can see, or looking for needles in the dark. Are you in a hurry going somewhere, but the horse is behind the cart? I saw people who thought by all means they made all the right decisions. Now they're living with so much regrets. They jump from the pot to the frying pan. Look before you leave, cause what you sow you reap. Look before you end up in a pile of look before you leave. For curiosity, take a peep. Look before you end up drowning in the deep. What I'm trying to tell you, don't jump unless you show about it. Don't jump, don't act like you're bad. Don't jump, it might be too dangerous. Think about it first. Don't jump, once you leave the rock. Don't jump, and no turning back. No, no, try to avoid disaster. No, 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 my brother, don't go. No, no. After everything now, at the end of the day, you are the one who have the final say. So whether it's jobs or relationships or even elections, the mandate is always there resting in your hands. Man, don't venture if it's looking blurry. You don't know what's behind closed curtain. You know what you had for the past years, but you don't know what's coming in. You don't want to see that the outcome is something that you always feared. Avoid self-disgust when it's over and the smoke is already cleared. Look before you leave, cause what you sow you reap. Look before you end up in a pile of look before you leave. For curiosity, take a peek. Look before you end up drowning in the deep. What I'm trying to tell you, don't jump unless you show about it. Don't jump, don't act like you're mad. Don't jump, it might be